I am here with Carla, and Carla, we just purchased your house, and I would like to ask you a couple questions about your experience. Would you mind telling me why you decided to sell the house in the first place?
Well, it wasn't an easy decision to make, as you know. My parents had always wanted me to keep the house so that I always had somewhere to go. But due to different financial reasons, I found myself in a position where I had to sell it the way I did. And for some reason, the day I made the decision was the day that I saw the commercial for your group. And I called and left a message, and you returned my call. And you walked me through how it worked, and you explained everything really easily for me. It made me feel at ease. I guess that was your personality, really, more than anything else, because I felt so comfortable with you. You went through everything step by step. You never left my side while we were doing it. I couldn't have asked for a better first experience with having to make that decision to do it. And once I did, you handled me like I guess you would your own family member, and that meant a lot. And we just had you just have that personality where, you feel comfortable, you knowledgeable about what you're doing, you care about the people that are actually selling the house, and making it easier on them, because it's not an easy decision to make.
I
So
appreciate you saying that.
and while that comes from the heart, as you know, you are good people. My mother always told me, when you find somebody you can work with and you get along with them and you sort of kind of have a connection, then yeah, it's right to do it with that person. And I couldn't have agreed more with her right then, as if she had been helping me going through it. I think, I guess, in a sense, she was, because she knew it was a hard decision.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm really grateful that we were able to be um, helpful for you in this process and feel like we were able to meet your needs and then some. It was a pleasure working with you for sure.
It
Uh,
was definitely a pleasure to work with you and Amanda.
yes, Amanda's great, and for those who are listening, Amanda's part of our administrative team. So shout out to her for being just as helpful and in the loop with this process as I was able to, in order to make this happen for you, Carla. How do you feel now that the deal is closed?
I feel a sense of loss because I was 4 years old when I moved into that house, and now I'm, in my 60s. So it, it's kind of surreal, I guess, maybe in a sense, but I believe that because I went through it, it made me stronger. And I believe, mom and dad didn't want me to struggle. That was why they, left me the house, because they could have left it to my son. But by me having been there since I was 4 years old, it was pretty much the only house I really did remember, except for pictures from where I really first lived. But I believe that it was right. You know, y'all want me through every step of it. And I believe I couldn't have picked a better crew to work with. Even the people that helped you along the way after, I made the decision, they all made me feel comfortable too.
Yes, it's a very sentimental house, and a lot of memories were made there. So we make
I
sure.
know I found myself the other day looking at the pictures, the video that y'all sent me after you sent the photographer in, and it was just, I'm glad I was at home when I watched it, because it did make me cry. And then when I went back down there to get my stuff, it was just, it felt like a loss of like losing my parents again, but I knew it was the right thing to do.
Of course, yeah. It's not an easy process to do. We do our best to make it as easy and as seamless for you as possible because I understand how stressful that can be. So, was there any reason, Carla, in particular, you chose us as opposed to going with an agent?
I didn't feel like an agent would really give it that, I don't know, family feel, or like, they're all so busy. And I know y'all were busy too, but you still had that, y'all worked really well together, from the people I met that worked on it with you. I think that's what made it so much more special, because you did care. And big businesses like that don't always tend to show the care that most people need. And by me having been an only child, and that was where I grew up, I kind of sort of relied on y'all a lot more than I guess I probably felt comfortable with a realtor because I had talked to another realtor and it didn't feel right.
Mhm. I can understand that. Yeah, behind the doors, it's not really presented this way in our marketing, but we are like a family behind closed doors, and I think that's the reason why you probably felt that way.
Yes, I think y'all should add a little bit more of that to it.
Yeah.
Especially your group. I'm not trying to take anything from any of the rest of the people, but you and Amanda were amazing. I feel really comfortable that I got to work with you, and I hope we stay in touch.
We absolutely will. And I appreciate you saying that. I will certainly let Amanda know you feel the same way too. So, I guess my follow-up question you might have already answered, but I'll ask you anyway in case you feel like you have something specific to say. What was it about your situation or maybe the condition that made selling to Diamond Equity the best fit?
I just, I guess I was really looking for comfort because it was something I had never done. I had been through with other realtors, with other different things, like moving into other places. And it just was, I don't know, I want to say it felt like a puppy mill, really,
Mm,
because they just don't show the attention that you guys did. You were there no matter what I needed.
gotcha.
And that means everything to me. And I would think it would mean anything the same to anybody else that wanted to experience something like this. Because I was like, I don't know how to find somebody in this type of business that I would, be able to trust because I didn't know anything about it. And then with the initial call from the person that answered the phone that sent me to you, he was even more knowledgeable than I thought was possible. So you have a good crew, and everyone that I did get to finally talk to, y'all seem to work really well together, and that's what meant more to me than anything. It really felt like y'all cared, you understood what it took for me to make that decision, and you were there. Like I said, you were there every step of the way for me.
So is there anything you'd suggest we do to improve our process, Carla?
Well, my mother used to say it's hard to, improve on perfection. And I believe y'all are the perfect group to work together to do what you do. I've never seen any other realtors like that. And yeah, I grew up in the country, as you know, so it's different down there than it is up here. And it's the one-on-one was what sold me on you guys. It really was. From the first phone call when I talked to you, I was comfortable that day. So I couldn't appreciate you more. And that one-on-one attention should mean a lot to everybody, especially if there's a lot of sentimental attachment to the property. That I can't imagine y'all not showing that to every situation, and I know every situation is different, but it's just something with y'all that I don't see in anybody else, or I didn't see in anybody else.
Hmm. So what would you say to someone who's looking to sell a property, Carla?
If it's your first time, this is a group you really do need to go with because I feel like they consider everything even before you even ask the question. You're well trained in what you do. It shows you pay attention to detail, and that matters, and that mattered a lot to me.
Well, thank
Um,
you. Yeah, if that's all you got, you don't need to go
that's
fit.
all I got.
I think it was really well said, Carla, and it was a pleasure working with you and being able to get this done for you. I know my team only has great things to say about you in this process, and
Oh, thank you.
of course. And if anybody out there is looking to sell a home, feel free to call Diamond Equity Investments and ask for Jamie, and we're happy to treat you like one of our own. So, Carla, it was a pleasure working with you, and thank you
It
again.
was a pleasure working with you too, and I'm glad that me and you and Amanda got to be friends through the whole process, and that makes a lot of difference.